All right, guys, tonight's mission, we got to get Super Dog over here in the shop and tear her apart. I want to do new brakes and wheel seals on the back axles. So I'm going to be in Pittsburgh in the morning so I can swing by and grab our new shoes and drums. So might as well pull all these shoes off so we have our core charge. It's 8:30 tonight. Let's see if we can get her in the shop and rip it apart real quick. Process the shiny new put together Talbot rear axle. Gonna get slid out the way. I think the rain helped you, girl. Washed the 1/4 inch of dust right off. Now we gotta wait for air so we can unhook from the 35 ton.
Hey Sam, what are we doing today?
Making brakes, maybe wheel seals. I don't know. What do you want to do?
Polish.
Oh yeah, we do need to do that. We got a Jake for that though.
That's good. We got the show to go to here soon.
What?
Got to ride in style.
Yeah. We got what? We were trying to go Friday. It's only Sunday. We got all week to make this happen. A little bit since last year, but I knew we had at least one wheel seal leaking, and I was like, well, I might as well just do all the wheel seals, I guess. I don't know if we really want to do them all. That one's definitely bad. So we'll start with pulling this dude apart. That way we can check to make sure we're getting the right shoes. I think I know which ones we need. I think as late as it's getting tonight, we're probably going to get this one set of duals apart, and that's going to be it. Got one of those heavy-duty jacks. Just pick up the whole axle.
You want? That one's good. I've been wanting to try it out. Guess this is as good time as any.
You probably want a better battery, but...
Better battery, says Sam. Yeah, it's only on 2. Good call.
Yeah, it's scrap battery. If it ain't a forge, it's scrap. What we got here? Oh, 3.
This might not be the best trial. We only got 3 red lights.
You'll be fine.
Sam says send it. It's like it was made for these.
Whammo! It did not care.
It did not. Torque test channel must not lie. So our problem is the top of the fender. It's not giving us clearance between the axle, so the axle needs to drop down in order to get the wheel out. But the truck also needs to go up. Too tight. Hey, do you think we have clearance?
We got clearance. No way you didn't know with that.
Forklifts make the best jacks.
Holy cow, 11R24 5s versus low pro 22 5s. Little different.
Well, one down, 7 more to go.
There's a lot of reasons to love this truck.
Man, I feel like I've been doing this recently. Where do you want it?
Scrap. New on.
Scrappy.
Holy grease. So have you been doing your pre-trips? No, this started yesterday. I think it just started happening yesterday.
Yeah, we just put it together yesterday. Yep.
So it's definitely time for a little bit of loving here. As you can see, we're gonna need 2 new shoes. We'll put a new drum on it while we're at it. And then we'll have to pull this hub off and change the wheel seal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pulling the shoes on. Pretty productive night, I'd say, Big John.
I think so. I had gloves on and my arms are still dirty.
Deleted all the wheels, tires, brakes, shoes. You can see how delicious that wheel seal's looking. I have 4 new wheel seals. Hopefully they're the right ones, but we're gonna just do all the wheel seals while we're this far. I did not do this stuff when I put this truck together, and I really should have. But, you know, that was back then. And I'll tell you what, this truck had me paycheck to paycheck. But we made it to this point, and now we can put brakes on. We need to drain the oil out of each one of these axles, and then pull the axles and pull the hubs. Just draining the oil. Successfully did not drain it everywhere. The only real concerning thing is the amount of metal coming out of the rear ends. That one's actually like a drill filing, it looks like. How'd that get in there? This one's not as bad as the front axle. The front axle had a lot. But you'll have that. Right, Buster Joe? Well, that's why we have a Maganute to pull those pieces of metal out of there. There are a lot of gears in there, so we got enough left. We are going to put synthetic oil back in. All right, so all the wheels and tires are off now for Polisher Jake. I guess he wanted the steps off too. We're gonna pull the steps off to make polishing the tanks easier. That's easy enough. And that should be everything he needs to make the shine happen tomorrow. And then we got a couple little air leaks, oil leaks, all the wheel seals, all our new brakes. Swung by, got our set of 4 new drums, 4 new sets of shoes for her today. Ready to roll? What do you think, Buster Joe? Lead mechanic. Yogi hates the impacts, so we left that little guy home tonight. Otis doesn't care at all. So I bought this pristine little unit on Amazon to try to find where the oil leaks are on the old E9, because down in the V, they are hard to tell. I've never used one of these, but it is basically a little smoke, fog, air creator machine, and you put oil in it and it burns it, I guess, and makes smoke. Let's figure it out. It says put 30 milliliters in it the first go round into this little fill port here. So we're going to put whatever portion of 8 ounces is 30 milliliters. Why do we have 2 things in this world? So 30 milliliters is 1 ounce. So we're just going to take 1/8 of this here rig. All right, right on the money. They don't want you to overfill it. They say it doesn't work as well. Avoid adding too much fuel as it may result in a poor smoke effect. Oh. China. We want smoke and air. Ooh, there's smoke. Let's go see if we can find some leaks. That puddle of oil there has been running off the back of the engine, kind of inside the V. I think it's somewhere in there. And that's what we're trying to find and fix so that it quits leaking. I'm hoping, like, if say a valve cover gasket's leaking, whatever, it will show you. I guess just to see if it's getting up into the engine. We'll pull this off, and when we see smoke coming out of here, we'll know we made it. Look, you can see the smoke coming out of there. So, cap that guy back off. It's leaking a little bit down there at the blow-by land. That cover down in there, it's not blowing smoke, but you can actually see it bubbling the oil just from that little bit of pressure. That's definitely a leak. See that what I'm talking about? That little cover under the water jacket. And that could be right where the most of it is coming out of that corner. It would splash up off the camshaft there. That saved a lot of effort. All right, we're gonna pull our axle. I at least want to check, dang it. At least want to check and make sure we ordered the right seals. Tomorrow's probably our last day to have enough time to order the seals before the 4th of July, and then we'll be sitting here for a long weekend without being able to finish. Yummy! Pull the lock nut off, and then there's the locker itself, the lock washer, and then that inner nut just come off by hand. At that point the hub's ready to come off. Pull the outer bearing. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with any of our bearings. I didn't count. That's what the outer bearing looks like. So the inner bearing's trapped behind the wheel seal. So that's the inner bearing. And then that's our wheel seal that obviously failed. And the wheel seal slips on to the axle in here. The inner bearing is riding right here. So as time goes on, your axle stubs can get bad. These ones look to be okay where those bearings ride. And there's a guy called the Axle Doctor, a company, the Axle Doctor. And basically what they'll do is just chop this whole thing off, remachine your axle, and weld on a new spindle, and you're back in business. So after so many miles, they're just that surface where the bearings go shot, and that's your way out. There's our seal. Does look very much like the new ones to me. Now the bearing will lift out. We're gonna have to clean all this very well. You can see that roller That roller there is starting to come apart. Yeah, that bearing needs to be replaced. Eyeball up the new fella. And it seems to be good to me. Yeah. Say we got the right one. Well, looks like we got the right wheel seal, so hey, at least we did something right. I'll just track down this bearing tomorrow. Maybe I'll get a couple inners and a couple outers just as we go. Hopefully we have enough to put it back together, and we'll have a couple chances. So that's going to be it for tonight. I got to peel those steps off. Nope, I got to peel those steps off. Alrighty, she is all stripped down, ready for polisher Jake tomorrow to come and tune her up. And stainless on the back should clean up real easy. Those fenders are going to take a lot of work. Fenders and the back wheels, I would say. The fenders and the back wheels have the most work cut out for them. The two wheels that were on the driver's side I bought brand new, and the two on the passenger side were on this truck, and I had polished them back in 2017, 2018, whenever we really put this truck together. That was before I was making YouTube videos, unfortunately. I rebuilt this V8 from a bare block up to what it is. Did all the machine work at my friend Kevin Campbell's shop, Chaos Fabrication. He was nice enough to let me use their machines. They have big VF6 Haws is what I decked the block in, and a VF5 Haws. I decked the heads and cut the fire rings and all that jazz when I rebuilt that engine. And kind of made her what she is today. This truck had an E7 in it. I bought that E9 out of a junkyard in Utah, had it shipped here, and had a donor truck to get the bigger radiator out of, and a lot of the little brackets and things that changed, motor mounts, things like that. There's a lot of differences from the E7 to the E9, and we got her all stabbed together. So I just kind of want to get this quick little before footage. I'm really curious to see how she looks after. Not that she's that bad, but she could use a good polishing. So today Jake got all the wheels polished. Got that fuel tank, air tank, battery box covers, other air tank. Deck plate on the frame here, that's looking awesome. That's never looked that nice. Tomorrow he's going to do both fenders, and the other fuel tank still needs to be done. Rear wheels are all done. Woo, buddy! He's doing a nice job. So our very greasy hub here, I'm just chucking him in the parts washer before I walk out the door today. Turn the heater off. But give it a nice long bath, and that'll shut off when we're done. Let's see how she did. I may have already looked, that's why it's tipped up, huh, Big John?
That's a magic parts washer.
Couldn't quite get all the scale, but it did a good job. In there where the wheel seal was, all that's cleaned up pretty well. So what we're going to do now is just take the MIG welder and weld a bead around those bearing races and get them to shrink up so we can pull them out. Let's see how she did. I may have already looked, that's why it's tipped up, huh, Big John?
That's a magic parts washer.
Couldn't quite get all the scale, but it did a good job. In there where the wheel seal was, all that's cleaned up pretty well. So what we're going to do now is just take the MIG welder and weld a bead around those bearing races and get them to shrink up so we can pull them out. And I guess first up, are our new parts right, Big John? We got to find out.
Who knows?
So the bearings didn't look terrible, but a few rollers were missing, like bits. And then if you look down here in the race, I don't know how well that shows up, but it's not super smooth. It's kind of beat up a little bit, so we're gonna change all that. And one of these should be the inner and one should be the outer. Hopefully. They're on the right, so. So set 402 gives you the 582 and the 572 cup and cone. Forget which is which. Is it right, Big John?
Is it right?
Looks nice and new, at least. We're not missing chunks, so that's a win. We're going to pick up all the smiles per gallon. Still a USA Timken bearing, too. How about it? How about it? To be.
Looking pretty good.
So I'm going to take the MIG welder and just run a bead on the inside of these. And then once that cools, that weld cools, it shrinks. And that basically pulls in on that, and we'll just pull it right out at that point.
What kind of heater are you putting in?
I'm putting in two 7.5 320.
It's that guy, right?
7.2, 7.5, something. Good enough for me. Such. Let it cool, Jimmy.
So just out of curiosity, I noticed this now. Is this kind of like some sort of cardinal sin, having a Lincoln welder with a Miller setup?
So, you know, I was saying earlier, Big John, it's always good to have competition. So, if your competition actually has to work together, they know they're replaceable and they actually work harder.
Gotcha. So these are guaranteed to never break down because obviously whatever brand does is worse.
And honestly, this old school transformer welder, it is a boss. Like, it doesn't have any fancy touch screens or any way to help you set it, but once you sharpie on some settings, this thing just welds. And we also had pointed out our cheapest possible Chinese Yes Welder MIG gun here, which honestly, I've been impressed by this thing. It's like $100 versus $400 for the Miller one, and it's worked well. So we're working on getting the anchor pins out for the brakes. These wear as the shoe kind of pivots on these anchor pins. So they come with your brake shoe kit. You'll get new anchor pins, drive them out, put the new ones in. Not even worth looking at. My air chisel would be a lot better for this job. My air hammer, it's at work. We don't have it here. So we got a B&O and a sledgehammer and a Big John. Whoop.
Woo! One down.
Anchor pins and anchor pin bushings.
So it's like a full rebuild.
Yeah, it's a full rebuild kit for $70 or whatever.
Ta-da!
So that's a 563 cup. And then I think it was supposed to be a 572. Yeah, 572. ChatGPT told me what cups went with the cones that we pulled the other night, so that was convenient. I was impressed by that. And there's our bearings. So you can see how welding on that did shrink it up, make it a little easier to pull. I could have welded another pass and maybe all the way around it would have helped, but it was enough to get the job done. Got her set up in the press. Our new bearing cup is down in there. I'm going to use the old one as a press tool for it. We still need to come up with something to bridge across that. Maybe one of these old press brake dies stood up. Okay. Looks like that backside is still a little high. It's pretty even right now, so we'll bring this all out. You can see our setup here in the old dake. Just need to keep going. We need another 3/8 half inch or so. Got to razor down another set of holes. See if we can put this 1.5 drive socket in there. Get it work. Send him home. She is bottomed out. So I'm just using the old bearings for basically your press tool to sit right down on nice. That's all properly seated. So is the other side, ready for reassembly. A little bit of pre-luber oil here. You do not want to pack these with grease because they're running in oil, and you're basically have a chance of either having a reaction with the grease in the gear lube or basically blocking out the oil. Don't put grease on them. So that goes down in there. All is well. And these will usually tell you like air side, so you know which way it goes. Like so. Have the appropriate wheel seal adapter tool for it. Make sure she's starting nice and squarely. And there she be. Alrighty. Trying to get that wheel bearing in so we don't caulk it hard on the seal. They're still setting the wheel seal on there. Need to go find the right socket for this. Get this guy tightened up. So you just want to set a wheel bearing until you have some resistance. So like that right there, you have the resistance of it, it's snug. And then we'll back it out from that point. So that's all in there. Give that a couple good turns. Just to ensure that everything is seated, which it seems to be. Now, I'm going to back it off and then retighten. There's just a little bit of preload on it. Everything seems to be good. Now we're going to back it off a quarter of a turn. Right there. And then this lock goes on. It locks in this groove on the back in the spindle. And then we just turn that nut to where it lines up with the hole. That. And then our lock nut goes on, and all its job is to hold that lock washer in place, which holds the main nut in place. And that's her. 3 to 4 of end play. We're gonna call that good. Our new gaskets on there. Cleaned up the axle. Drop it in. Oh, there she is. There she is. That. All right, wheels and tires. I don't know if you guys noticed when I threaded the nuts on, the lock nut was actually hanging over the end of the axle. It wasn't behind the face here like it should have been. I really noticed this when I took the other side apart, and I'm like, hey, there's extra thread showing, what's the deal? So I pulled the nuts, well, pulled the axle, pulled the drum, pulled the nuts, pulled the outer bearing, and looking back in there, I didn't catch this. I thought it was seated. That inner bearing race, it's not fully seated. So we got to take this back off, get back in the press, and set it in there all the way. Hopefully there's not some debris behind it. I'll try to blow it out of there first, but I'm glad we caught this now and before we're on the side of the road with this thing having like 38 miles of play. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to destroy that wheel seal, getting it back out. We have 4. I'm not going to do the back axle, so we have 2 extras today. Let's do it. So I'll show you guys my dumb move, what had to have happened. This thing was stopped right at that lip. So I think when I was pressing on this, it was a little bit off and it hit that lip and I felt that stop and bottomed out. Well, what I just did to fix it was if you flip this over, then you have that nice radius there come down in. So that was pushing there, and then I have my socket on this, and that's how I pressed it in there. Now, you can check it from the other side. So if you look at that far bearing, you can see how nicely seated it is. And you got to check this one essentially from the other side. And then now you can see we're good and seated there. Rookie move. Let's get her back together again. It's already going to be better, I can tell. It's actually rolling more freely now. It's probably all aligned a lot better. So the cover I thought was leaking, this guy. I fought it for like an hour probably to get it out of there. I showed you where it was bubbling from. Basically in front of the turbo, under the water neck, blah, blah, blah. Taking the turbo off of this thing is not real fun, as you can see. But I got a solution to put it back together. One Big John. Good luck.
Thank you.
How about that RTV package? We got shop assistant Otis today because Yogi hates impacts, and we're about to be doing a lot of impacting, so poor Yogi, he's at home. Well, short story long, the way those springs wouldn't tighten up, I realized these were the wrong shoes that we had. So, run to the north side of Pittsburgh to get to the parts store. A lot of confusion later about what shoes we actually needed, and essentially why the springs from here down to the other side weren't getting tight. I talked to Mac, gave them the VIN. They said, oh, you need 4515s, which is what we had. Well, we had Fruhoff 4515s, which are different than regular 4515s. So now we have regular 4515s. Let's put them on and see what happens. These anchor pins different?
There's a lot of slop in there.
No, we will go on.
Oh no. What if they are different and we gave a set back?
Well, I wasn't planning on changing the other one, so it really doesn't matter.
Punch this one out. Whoa.
The ones we had. Yeah, fits on those ones. So another difference, the gold and the silver anchor pins. Can I hammer this anchor pin out of there, Shave? So I guess that was another reason to be weary. Those weren't real tight in the bore.
You need, you know.
Can you grab us a set of anchor pins? Thank you, buddy. On there.
Lane's over here doing his best to help out.
It's better in there.
Shoot. Moment of truth.
Got the vice grip
How
behind
does
you.
look? That looks much better. Sweet. So with these springs and these hole pattern, everything is now nice and tight on our new anchor pins. Looks good on the S-cam. We'll put the drum on there now and see what spacing we have. Why would you want it to be easy, John?
I don't know. Got it.
I mean, you could probably lean it and get it out of there. The last step on this mission is just to fill her up with gear lube. What are we pumping? We are pumping full synthetic 75-90 in these girls. Quite a bit lighter than the old non-synthetic conventional oil that we had in there. I can tell you one thing, this oil is not cheap. I think it was like 200 bucks a bucket or something for this synthetic gear oil. It's they're proud of it. That deck plate out of the way. We're going to set our blocks there. And that's how we're going to set the Cleveland on her so we can go to this show. Big John, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Big Muscle's coming in. So we need to clear the fifth wheel. So we're going to leave these two blocks laid down. And then we're going to stack these 6x on top of those. And then we should be able to chain down. We're going to put it so the front of the engine is towards the front of the truck and the generator's off the back. I think we'll be all right here. Well, it was a heck of a day. Unfortunately, we didn't get any chance to get the Cleveland running, but the Mack runs and drives and has brand new brakes. So that's a win. This is our Mack electric conversion, actually the world's first Mack full electric retrofit package. The turbo encabulator is headed to Ashtabula in the AM whenever we pry ourselves out of bed. It's 11:30 tonight, and I am freaking tired. Well, we didn't get a super early start today, mainly because I am dead tired from yesterday. Let's get her going! So we're up here in Ashtabula County now, just getting off Route 11 in Ohio. And I think we only have a little bit of trip left somewhere over this way. .6 miles to go. And the engine's still back there. That's always good.
Don't last that big load, babe.
We're alright. We feel a little top heavy, like a little bit of this, like we're in a water truck, but you know, otherwise we're good.
entrance. I don't think that means us.
Well, it says main entrance.
We'll find somebody who knows.
I don't know if we're gonna fit through your canopy.
I don't think you are.
Where do they want us at? Never been to a show.
Could you just show up?
You know where you're going?
No, no.
Lights are coming out, man. That's
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
So when you go down here, don't go underneath there
Okay.
because I don't think you're going to fit.
Right.
So come here and then go all the way down. Just go down that road, and you'll see down there a bunch of old big edges and stuff.
Okay.
Find a place to set up down there.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell NASA used it for a backup generator.
Oh, yeah.
For emergency
Okay.
generator.
That was the main reason I wanted to come here for that EMD.
You heard about that?
Mhm.
Yeah, we got it. It,
So-
it makes noise.
Cool. Hey,
Where are you guys from?
near Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
Down that thing, turn left.
All right. Do you know where you're going? Absolutely not. Well, guys, Big John and I made it out here to the Ashtabula Antique Engine Show. Let's go see what we can check out. I hear they have an EMD engine here, some Fairbanks Morse, a lot of really cool different engine, tractors, everything like that. A little bit we've seen so far. Don't know what we're doing, never been here before. Let's go check it out.
Hey Sam, first impressions of the show?
It's a lot bigger than I expected, I'll be honest. It's pretty awesome. This is the 567 EMD. What is this? NASA power backup?
Yeah, I believe he is saying that this engine used to be used as a backup at NASA, and that's how they ended up with it. Oh, there's a whole sheet on it. That's a wiki page. Sold to Cat 2010.
How many cylinders is that? Because I guess each one is a 16, B16. Because a 567 could still be many different cylinder configurations. So like the Cleveland, it's a two-stroke. Those are the blowers on the end. There's two blowers that hang off the end of the engine. That's what was missing on our Wisconsin. And then that's all the exhaust manifold coming out the top. The whole thing is like the intake manifold going here and there, blowing it up here. And then the cylinders would have those holes in the side, just like the Cleveland. When the piston's down, air goes in.
Lube oil filter. Look at that, they label it for you.
Wow, that is really cool. I wonder if, like, they painted all this stuff so nice, if they had to tear that all apart and redo it, or if they were just painting. You know, modern, like even the lube oil temp and all that. Pacific Coast Instrument. Those are some cool gauges. Here, look, if they tell us how to do it, we can fire it up right now. gets going. Oh, those rockers are big.
Yeah, you can see there's, you know, 2 bolts between each
Mhm.
thing. So these 2 bolts hold each side of the head down.
So the neat thing is that's like a complete power pack. So when you take these out, that's the head bolted to the cylinder, and that whole pack comes out of there in one. These are what's holding the head to the cylinder itself. Once you get that out to take it apart. So basically, if you destroy a cylinder, a piston explodes, you can pull the whole unit comes out in one, and then there's a hole through the center of the piston. You bolt the piston up to the top, and then just take the connecting rod off the crank and pull everything at one time. That's massive, like the scale of that camshaft and everything. Like look at the rockers in the camshaft. I'm amazed how clean it is, how clean the oil is. What's this thing hold for lube oil?
I have no idea.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. This one did have trouble with number 12 at some point in time before we got it. So they did weld the block up and kind of fix it up a little.
So these are all a weldment block, they're not cast.
Right.
So the good thing is when they grenade, you can fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, these top caps, this is just an air box in here. This bottom one, you could actually see the connecting rods inside.
Okay. So that whole rack, that's the fuel rack that would turn
Yeah.
and run the injectors.
Yep.
So that's the fuel rail there. Okay. That's giving you the pressure and return of the low pressure fuel.
Right.
That's neat. That is massive. Any idea how many hours are on it? Like, does it say on that panel? Like, if it was just backup, or did they use it when they were running tests?
As I understand, this was like a backup. This
Oh,
was
okay.
an auxiliary.
Okay.
So if they needed more power or something happened, yeah, they
Okay.
could use this as a backup.
Cool. Well, thank
To me,
you.
that's being overkill for a backup generator. But
Depends how much power you need, I guess.
depends on what you're doing.
Yeah. You want to grab that?
My name's David Donaldson.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Movies this powered the started F-14s, you know, on the aircraft carrier.
They said they actually took this barn apart into 2 pieces and hauled it here. That's impressive. It's not that small to move in 2 pieces. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Bunch of different engines here on display. Unfortunately, something I knew very, very little about. These old Bessemers are neat. Grove City, PA is about an hour away from us. This is what we have out here at the derrick. So it's actually pumping gasoline out of the ground. Goes into that pipe. That pipe comes inside the building here. Through the vacuum pumps. So when they pull a vacuum on it, that must help you get the brine and water, basically your produced water out of it, just like you have today with wells. So you gotta get that out. That goes into that tank. And then you compress it out. There's one more chance for condensate. And then they're using some of that gasoline to run the engine that's running the whole show. So another key part of this is the condenser here, I guess. So after the compressor, you have to cool it back down. The old Rumley. Yeah, maybe they can get us some deck boards for the Talbert. I ordered them. Still waiting on the old sawmill.
See all the chainsaws hanging up there?
That's cool.
So the 3 from the left, you see how the head pivots?
So you can cut your legs off faster?
Well, the engine needed to stay upright, and so to do horizontal cuts,
Oh.
you'd rotate the head.
Is that just like a Briggs? I guess there's a big 4-stroke on that. That's why I need to stay upright for the oil.
I don't know.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of for lubrication. Smells like gas. Something's gonna go kaboom. There she goes. I think he's working the gas valve with his other hand.
I don't know what Sam wants to videotape, but ice cream.
So we saw the hot tube engine, and we're seeing so there's no spark plug. Somehow, kind of dirty gas, oil, whatever you want to say, I think, gets heated up in that tube where there's a little flame burning. Then it somehow gets into the engine and burns. But we've been walking around and we got questions. So I don't think there's any valves, which to me means I don't think it's a 4-stroke.
Now he's got, that looks like about a 4.5-inch hot tube,
Okay.
and they're made out of silver. But what's happening, we used to go out there, oil wells, fields in the mountains, and they would literally still these things, what silver's worth.
Right. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap on the old 2025 Ashtabula show. I really enjoyed it here. It was way bigger than I expected. A lot of different engines, quite a few tractors, pretty big flea market area, good food. It was a beautiful day here. They have a really nice showground. So if you're in the area, I would say this is a cool show to visit if you're into engines.